Hey guys, what's up? Shadowlands back for another video. I got asked to do a top 10 worst weapons in combat arms video on Facebook, and so here I am today to oblige to that. This is going to be a no-holds episode where every weapon, including NX rares and epics, are included. This includes every weapon in the game. I will also list a second weapon for everyone on the list that's basically a better version of the item on the list, so it's kind of like, why do we even have the first weapon in the first place? Because it's just a crappier version of this other one that I'm going to list. So, without any further ado, let's dive right in. Number 10 is the SG550. And the better version of it, as you might guess, is the SG556 Mark II. It's basically a working version of the gun. The SG550 has literally no damage. I would take an M16A3's damage over this. It's just absolute crap. It has terrible damage drop-off. The recoil is low, but with only 20 shots per mag, you're not going to be able to get out enough damaging shots to actually kill your opponent. It could very easily take an entire magazine at maximum range to get a kill, even if you're tap firing and landing most of your shots, especially if you're hitting people in the leg and the feet. Just the damage really kills this weapon, that and the magazine size. In 9th place, we have the Tarr 21, and a better version of it is just the M416 CQB. When they were designing this weapon, you can tell they just wanted to create an M416 CQB that had a burst mode, and then they went in and messed with the stats a bit and screwed it up. The damage actually isn't the horrible part. It's not great damage, but it's definitely manageable. The fire rate and the recoil pattern are what really screw this thing up. It's very well known for the Tarr series. They tried to give it a faster rate of fire to go with the burst mode, but the recoil pattern they decided to choose for this weapon just absolutely screwed it a new butthole. This thing is absolutely awful. It's known to be one of the worst weapons in the game, although I think there are some weapons that are definitely worse than it. In 8th place, we have the XK8, and the better version is just the XK8 Tactical. The only reason I have both of those on there, because actually both of them are pretty crap weapons, is that there's no other weapon in the game even remotely like them. They have a really crappy scope. It's the AUG scope, which I am not a fan of. It's very similar to it. It's not the exact same, but it's a actually kind of worse version of it because it's like 2D in comparison to the AUG's 3D slight-looking scope. At least it's well shadowed. This weapon has literally no damage. It has a burst mode, which is kind of crappy. The damage is bad. The reload is bad, the draw speed is bad, just all the stuff that you don't see statistically about the weapon is bad. The spread recovery is really bad too, and the spread jumps up fairly quickly. Although it's very accurate if you tap fire, it's just not a good weapon. The Tactical does have a silencer, and the recoil is slightly lower, and the spread is slightly lower as well, so it's not as bad, but you can't spray or tap fire with this weapon, and it is certainly outclassed by the XM8, the G36, the AUG, any other weapon that has the kind of like high power long range idea. In 7th place, we have the Saiga 20K. The better version of this is just the jackhammer. The Saiga 20K, and actually this goes for the entire series. The entire series is pretty much complete crap. Even for a shotgun, the damage drop-off is awful. What they were trying to do was create a fully automatic shotgun that does more damage than the AA-12. The jackhammer eventually replaced it and turned out to be a working version of this. The Saiga is fairly heavy even in comparison to other shotguns. The damage is crap. It only has 8 shots per mag, which is not enough for a fully automatic shotgun, and the reload is not great. Overall, the shotgun was it was a good idea, but they didn't really get it right until the jackhammer came out, because even the AA-12, the regular one, I mean, not the Dominator, is still pretty crap because the damage can make it a 5 to even 6 shot kill sometimes, especially at a range. In 6th place, we have the Mosin Nagant. I don't really know why this weapon is even in the game. It serves no purpose. It fires quickly, but the spread is horrendous. The spread recovery is horrendous. The damage drop-off is horrible. The damage itself is terrible. It's never a one-shot kill, even to the back of a light vester. It's absolute trash. A better version of the weapon is just the M1866 customized. I see what they were trying to do. They wanted to create a pump-action rifle that you could reload sort of like a shotgun. And to be honest, they already got this one right. They don't need to make it any better. The M1866, if you customize it for damage and accuracy, the spread recovery and the damage even makes it a one-shot kill about 30% of the time. It's what you're looking for. It's a very interesting rifle. I see what they were trying to do, and it's certainly interesting because Mosin Nagant is a very famous rifle throughout history, but as far as the purpose it was trying to serve in combat arms, the M1866 kind of already got it covered. The only way you'd be able to make it better is to give it higher damage, but that would honestly make the gun OP in my opinion. In 5th place, we have the M2 Browning, and a better version of the M2 Browning, any other machine gun in the game. It's like, not all machine guns are fairly similar. The only ones that really stand out are the RPKS mod series, and a couple of other minor ones like the MK48 has slightly lower recoil per the damage than some other ones, but really they're all the same, they perform the same function. But the M2 Browning, you can see what they were trying to do, create a super fast fire rate weapon that was kind of closer to a minigun. They wanted to create a really fast firing machine gun with tons of damage, give it a higher recoil than most machine guns have, and then just make it an absolute tank that you can't drag this thing anywhere. It's so broken that at one point, I don't know if it's still true any longer, if you had a Hauser, you went into blood money, picked up maximum amount of gold, and then had this weapon, you could not move. You actually could not move with this weapon. It is so heavy. I don't know who designed this weapon. It was an interesting idea, but it's a really crap idea. In number 4, we have the M99 Big Shot. It's an interesting idea. It's a very low magazine, 1 shot per mag, sniper rifle that has 100% accuracy and 100% damage. However, the damage drop-off is so bad at maximum range, even across Kill Creek. Ignore maximum range. Even across Kill Creek, half the time it's not a one-shot kill. It does have very fast spread recovery, but that doesn't really matter because it only has 1 shot per mag, and you have to reload it every time you want to fire it, which is just kind of crap. I mean, I guess if you were using it in a one-on-one at really long ranges and you just wanted to take 1 shot at a time, it might be more plausible if it had more damage, but at that point it becomes useless. And if you're at the close enough range to get the 1-shot kill, you're going to want more shots in your magazine, because if you don't land that first shot, you're kind of screwed. The ZVI Falcon at least has good enough damage to do high damage at that range and even get 1-shot kills most of the time, but it has 2 shots per mag, so I don't really know where people were going with this one. In third place, we have the XM25 CDTE. What the crap. You could tell they were just trying to copy the M32 specialist weapon into a primary that you could carry around. The problem with this is, no explosive weapon like this should be a 4-shot kill and only have 4 shots per mag and 4 shots in spare. So what you're telling me is, at best, if you have full HP opponents, at best you can get 2 kills, and that's if you land every single shot dead on. The only place I can see this weapon being particularly useful is in quarantine, and what's more, what's with the scope on this weapon? It's an M200 scope that zooms in by like 1.2 times. It doesn't zoom in at all. It just gives you a hash on your screen that looks different than the one you already have, and to be honest, it's just more in the way because then your scrolling is slowed down. Don't really know where they were going with this weapon, but they need to never go there again. In second place, we have the LR300ML, and a better version of it is just the Groza. This was an interesting weapon. They were trying to create an SMG assault rifle hybrid. In the past, they had weapons like the CZ Scorpion Evo, where they had an SMG that performed more like an assault rifle, and they also had guns like the Carbon 15, where you had an assault rifle that performed more like an SMG, because it fires super fast and has lower damage. This weapon, however, unlike the Carbon 15, is crap. You can't put a scope on it. You can put an extended magazine and silencer on it, but the damage drop-off is horrible. You're lucky to be doing 10 damage at maximum range with this thing. It's absolute crap. It does have incredibly fast spread recovery and very tiny spread, arguably lower than the M416, and the spread pattern is certainly smaller as well. But if you're not doing any damage, even if you fire an entire magazine into someone's face, it doesn't matter. The fire rate is very fast, but there are other rifles, if you upgrade the M416 series, for example, that have better fire rates. So why the crap do we have this weapon in the game? It's absolute trash. The Groza, although it has a lower fire rate, and you can't put a scope on it, at least it has a high enough damage to let you use the damn weapon. In first place, we have the INSAS rifle. I have no idea why this weapon's in the game. It is just an M16A3 with a repaint, and then do less damage, have worse damage drop-off, and have noticeably less recoil than an M16A3. But what's the point to copying and pasting the default weapon that everybody has? It looks a little different and has a built-in ACOG scope, but the tap firing, you can't even tap fire it. What tap firing? Yes, you can tap fire a little bit if you want to tap fire 1 shot every 3 seconds. The recoil isn't as high as an M16A3, but in scope, you still can't tap fire it because the diagonal recoil throws you off like crap. After tap firing 3 shots, you have to start waiting 3 seconds in between firing the next shot. It's just, whoever thought of this weapon, I don't know what drugs they were on, but where can I get some? Because they gotta be damn good if you can't think straight enough to make a weapon, especially one that you have to just copy and paste from an M16A3. Anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I know it was kind of a rant. These were the top 10 worst weapons in combat arms in my opinion, but I'm interested in knowing your opinions as well, so please post in the comment section below, and I will get to you in the next video. Shadowlance out.